It's getting hot out here, so grab a cocky and pull up to our all new episode of the Inner Circle Podcast. What's going on, everyone? I am your boy, your host, Charlie, the hostess with the mostest. Welcome to another episode 323 to be exact, of the Inner Circle Podcast. I hope everyone's doing good out there. Listen, what a last! I had a great weekend this past weekend. I did caught up with some friends this past weekend. Enjoyed the weather. The weather was beautiful. Yesterday, actually, to cue you guys in, get a little personal, actually, and for anyone out there that this may help, I actually had an endoscopy yesterday. Yes, I had an endoscopy yesterday. Because I've been feeling, here and there, I have some stomach things that have happened, issues. Not often, but here and there. Where, listen, I'm someone that I care about my health. As you guys know, if you follow me on social media, you guys know that I'm very much into the gym. I care about my health. I'm a CMOS, apple cider vinegar drinker, like all that good stuff, right? I'm all about my health. So, when certain things start happening with the body, with this vessel, I like to go to the doctors, get things checked out. So yesterday, shout out to my grandmother, that at my grown age, I'm blessed to have my grandmother accompany me to this appointment because they put you under. So you need someone there, I guess, to take you after you're done, right? So that's scary in itself, putting you under, going under anesthesia. Like, that's very scary in itself because of the stories you hear and all that. So it's always nerve-wracking going to the doctors, right? But at the same time, what is it? Well, health is wealth, right? Knowing and just checking on yourself, checking your body, going on those regular checkups, especially depending on, the age you're in and the age bracket you're in. And there's no shame in that, but it's very good to stay on top of your health. So I had that done. Excuse me. Part of it is the cough because they stick something down your throat. Basically, they stick some whatever down your throat to check your stomach. All in all, I wanted to share with you guys. I'm glad I had this done because I ended up finding out that I have a what do we call it? I don't want to call it something. That's not it. I don't know why I'm having a brain fart right now. But basically, an ulcer. I was going to call it a lesion. Well, I don't know why a lesion. An ulcer, a small ulcer. The doctor told me it's very, very small. But I freaked out. My big baby ass definitely, got a little emotional. But, the doctor reassured me it's nothing to be scared about. With some medicine that he prescribed, it should take care of it. So, all in all, I'm thankful. What sucks is that I'm going to have to go for follow-up in a few weeks and make sure that, the medicine did what it did. So that means going under again. And again, I'm not the biggest fan of going under. I know I heard some people, even my grandmother, that surprised me. She was like, "Oh, I've had that done before. And it was such great sleep. When I woke up, I told the doctor, can I sleep a little longer?" I'm like, Not my grandmother telling me this. Me, I'm like, nah. Like, I get it because they do knock you out, but still it's scary going under. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And, you never know. And then I heard the word fentanyl. I guess they use fentanyl. I'm like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. I'm like, Jesus, please, God, protect me. Cover me in your blood. Like, seriously. So, but my point is, y'all, go check yourself. Health is wealth. So that was my last few days. That was yesterday. Shout out to my grandmother again. I'm so thankful that I have her. And then shout out to my brothers with the encouraging words. And shout out to a few of my friends that checked on me. I appreciate you guys for remembering and checking on me. But let's get into the show, y'all. There's so much going on and so little time. Shout out to Madonna. We spoke about Madonna saving pop last week. And listen, she debuted at number one. And we got to talk about this because it is history. She continues to create history as a queen of pop that she is, the legend that she is, despite ageism in this world. The pop icon's 15th album, Confessions 2, debuted at the top of the Billboard 200 with 134,000 album units. And remember, we live in a world of streaming. Shout out to Madonna because most of this was pure album sales, not streaming, pure album sales. But it makes sense. Most of Madonna's fans are, not millennials. It goes beyond before millennials, including millennials. So we are used to buying the physical albums and the what's before millennials, all those other ones that came before us. I don't even know what we are, what I am. But becomes her first chart topper of the 2020s, her biggest streaming week ever for an album, and her largest pure subs album sales in a week in over a decade. So shout out to Madonna for this feat. And listen, it's crazy that Madonna and both Michael Jackson are back in the top 10. Legends that came out that were born the same year came out. Obviously, Michael Jackson was out since a kid, so his stardom started way before Madonna. But they both blew up as solo artists in the 80s and 90s. They were the undisputed king and queen of pop. So to have them in 2026, unfortunately, Michael Jackson is no longer with us. But to have them both in the top 10, their music and their, whether it's Michael's songs or their albums in the top 10 together, that is so cool to see. So shout out to Madonna and Michael. And that goes to show legends and great music are timeless, that no matter what will never go away. So shout out to Madonna. Congratulations. And moving on to some TV. There's a lot of listen. I'm enjoying summer, and I'm not rushing summer like other summers. I'm really enjoying summer, but now during the summer, we usually start hearing all the news about fall TV, and in a way, I love fall, and I'm getting excited for it. I'm definitely getting excited for fall TV, especially spooky season fall TV. It was just announced that Camp Crystal Lake, the prequel to Friday the 13th. I'm a horror buff here. It's my favorite genre. So excuse me while I geek out. Camp Crystal Lake, the prequel to Friday the 13th, is dropping this October on Peacock. I'm excited for that. It's basically the prequel to Friday the 13th, Jason. And we know if you're a Jason fan, a Friday the 13th fan, you know that originally the first killer is his mama. So we're gonna go through the prequel and all that and those beginnings. So I'm excited for that. Something else that was just announced, as well as that was adapted as a series, Stephen King's Carrie. And if you know, I'm a huge fan of the original Carrie, which actually came out way before I was born. There was a remake. There was kind of a remake / part 2 that followed. I don't want to say, actually no, there was a part 2 that came out in the late 90s, right? That was kind of like a sequel to Carrie. And then there was a remake in the 2000s. Now there's a series that's coming out on Prime Video also this fall, and it's an 8-episode series, so I'm excited for that. And if you've been living under a rock, American Horror Story is back, season 13, and we're going back to the Coven, baby. We all know that Coven has been one of their biggest popular seasons, and we're going back to it. So that was announced, and I'm totally excited for that. So can't wait for fall TV. Although I'm enjoying summer, I'm not rushing summer, y'all. I'm not rushing summer. But speaking of TV, that's currently airing right now is The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And this past Sunday, after a week's break, the girls are back and they continued their trip in Scotland. And we're not going to recap the show, but let's just go to the most juiciest part that had the internet and the people talking that night and the very next day all over. Listen, the people are split from what I'm seeing. Porsha versus Shamea. They took it to hell. We all know that the friendship crack started last season. And it got worse when Porsha revealed online that Shamea's mother stole Portia's mother's daycare businesses back in the day. It opened up Pandora's box. Shamea didn't really want to go there, but she went there this past Sunday when she revealed that Portia's mother tried to sleep with Shamea's daddy. Yes, you heard that right. Miss Diane allegedly tried to sleep with Portia's with Shamea's dad. Now, where Porsha counteracts towards Shamea and says, "Well, I heard your mama allegedly tried to sleep with one of your uncles, one of your daddy's brothers." Ooh, those girls took it to hell, all the way down to hell. Drag me to hell. They almost did that. Listen, when you involve mamas, it's like back in school. Remember, like when you argued with kids and they and as soon as someone said your mama, that's when the fist came or the argument intensified. You don't bring mamas into it. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I've seen a lot. Some people are saying, well, Porsha started it when she revealed that information about Shamea's mother stealing her mother's business back in the day. Um, the nuance, and it's very tricky. It also sucks because for me, I've had best friends, I've had friendships, and I've even had fallouts with people that you're very close with, and then they decide to air out your laundry or say certain things that you confided in, and that sucks because to me it's like you never was a true friend if you just been sitting on shit and ready to like divulge as soon as shit went left. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, I don't know where to go with this. I don't know where to go with this. I'm very split. I'm sorry on all of this. I get it. I'm partially more team Shamea because I feel like Shamea did try not to divulge things and was hoping for maybe a reconciliation with Porsha. It didn't happen, and here we are. So I don't know what you guys think. What's your take? Are you team Porsha? Are you team Shamea? All in all, it's messy. And at this point, where what has been said, I don't see a friendship coming back from this. But we've seen worse things happen and people come back together. So on Monday, Porsha, while in the Bahamas vacationing. Now, I don't know why someone while vacationing, living their best life, would take the time to continue to go to hell. But Porsha tweeted on Monday in response to what was going on in this episode that Shamea also allegedly, oh Lord, is sleeping with her manager who's married and also a pastor and a caterer. Lord have mercy. Not only her manager, but allegedly sleeping with a pastor. Again, some accusations there because as we know, Shamea is married. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. We know Porsha sometimes likes to throw things out there, and especially throw things out there that she's heard. Because we're very quick to throw out there rumors that we've heard, but we don't know for sure if it's factual. So I don't know. All in all, I'm a little more slight team Shamea, but if you know me, I was a big Porsha fan. Like since Porsha debuted, I love Porsha. The last few years, listen, I don't dislike Porsha. I still love Porsha. I think she's great TV. But there's been a change of how I view Porsha. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but we'll see how this plays out. Again, what do you guys think? What's your take? Make sure you comment, DM us, whatever. Your take on, are you team Shamea or team Porsha in this crazy hot mess of the mamas? Speaking of TV and keeping it on the TV segment and talk, just today, the challenge Cutthroat, the challenge season 42, wow, 42 seasons was just announced, and we are going back to a format that has been a fan favorite, including mine, Cutthroat. Yes, you know I love a team format. I love when the challenge does a team format. And as you know, Cutthroat is a team format. This season has 12 guys, 12 girls, some of the notable people that we know I'm going to mention. I'm not going to mention them all. On the male side, we have Bananas coming back, Corey. We have Nelson, who we haven't seen since his tragic accident and his leg amputation. So it's great to see, an athlete basically now with a handicap back on the challenge. So Nelson, we also have some people from last year as well. I'm having a brain fart with some of the people. As far as the girl side, we have Tori returning. Cara Maria's back. Norris is back as well. So it is going to be a interesting season to watch, all in all. So, and that starts August 8th on Paramount Plus. It made the switch from MTV to Paramount Plus. Listen, y'all, as you guys know, everything on MTV has been. We heard of ridiculousness coming to an end. Jersey Shore was this is the last season airing, coming to an end. So MTV is basically cleaning house, and MTV as we know it's basically kind of over, if you really ask me. But thank God for me, I'm a Paramount Plus subscriber, so I'll definitely be tuning in Wednesdays starting August 8th. The challenge season 42, Cutthroat. I'm excited, can't wait for that. Now, moving on, I don't know if you guys have heard about this daylight saving proposal going on. Listen, we've heard about this a few years ago. Donald Trump is for it. The Senate version of what is called the Sunshine Protection Act stalled last year after Senator Tom Cotton, a Republican in Arkansas, objected to fast tracking the bill's passage via unanimous consent in October. Cotton said the change to permanent daylight savings could lead to overlooked negative consequences, pointing to parts of the country where the sun wouldn't rise until 9 a.m. or later, citing potential dangerous dark morning commutes and workers who would need to work early mornings without the sun. Listen, this from what I believe, I don't know if I'm saying it right. I believe in 1974 this same act bill was proposed, and it actually was enacted for a little bit, but people see that yes, there was in some parts of the country we wasn't seeing daylight till 9 something, and it posed dangers for kids commuting to school in the dark, people going to work in the dark during the winter times. That sun that helps somewhat melt those cold winter ice freezes. What are we going to do when the sun's not rising till after 9 in some parts of the country? So I get it. Most of it is so we don't have the nuance of changing the clocks twice a year. But come on now, most of us don't have the old clocks anymore. We have clocks on our smartphones, our computers, our smart TVs that change automatically. So, and if you have smart devices as well, that change automatically. So I don't see what's the big deal of the nuance of us Americans having to worry about changing our time twice a year, because it changes automatically. So I don't know how I feel about this. I'm split. I am listening more of the side of the potential dangers and hazards and things that could cause this daylight savings issue. I know we're the only ones in the world that has daylight savings. I believe everyone else doesn't practice it or enact it. So we will see. We know Trump is up for it now that this bill goes to the House, I believe. It goes next. I believe it was Senate. Now it goes to the House, vice versa. But all in all, if it goes and it's signed by the next step, we know Trump is up for it. So daylight savings as it is may be done. So what do you guys think about this daylight savings? Are you for it? Are you against it? Let us know in the comment section. Speaking of daylight saving, he was insane. This man was not trying to save no time for the people. But then again, it wasn't his fault. Let's talk about JayZ. JayZ had 3 concerts at Yankee Stadium this past weekend. I'm telling you, New York has been lit since like April. And this weekend was no exception for the city, with JayZ bringing his shows to New York, kicking it off in New York. Night 1, we seen, of course, his wifey, Beyonce, out there. We seen Pharrell join him throughout the weekend, Usher, many big acts. He even brought Rihanna out of, cradling the kids to perform on Sunday. But let's talk about specifically Sunday. JayZ did not go on stage till, what is it, after midnight, I heard? Due to security issues, people were trying to bum rush at certain security gate checkpoints that did not have tickets, were rushing, stampeding, barbarically, ghetto, because I call that ghetto too, in without tickets, which caused security and police officers and such to shut the gates and not let people in till things got sorted out. So there was a lot of ticket holders stuck outside with tickets trying to get in. The show did not get started till after midnight, I heard. Imagine having to go to work Monday morning, having to be at work at 8, 9 o'clock. So that means depending where you live and where you're commuting, having to get up at a certain time, but you left the JayZ concert at 3, 4 in the morning. Ooh, shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys. But hey, maybe it was millennials, and if you're a millennial, you know what it was back in the day, partying to 4 in the morning and having to be at work at 8 a.m. But somehow we didn't. So, all in all, hopefully y'all enjoyed the JayZ show. Would you, excuse me, would you guys have stayed if it was y'all on Sunday's show? Would you guys have left and asked for a refund for your tickets, or would you guys have stayed and rocked out to 3 in the morning? Let us know. Let me know. First of all, I thought Yankee Stadium had like a cutoff time. Like after a certain time, you can't perform or something like that. Like, certain places and certain stadiums and concert venues after a certain time, like you can't perform after a certain time or the cops will shut you down. I thought Yankee Stadium was like that, but apparently not. But shout out to JayZ and shout out to all the people. All in all, it was a packed crowd and the people were out for the Jigga Man. So moving on to more music, Young Miami. We spoke about this last week about the controversy with Spend That and how the wrong message is sending the kids and such. And I believe we touched on this last week's episode. Listen, the song is Rising, and I myself love the song. I think it's a summer song for sure. Shout out to Young Miami. A prime example of you could go through some dark, dark lows and be linked or tied in to some dark, dark souls, but yet still rise like a phoenix. So shout out to her. I want to give my thoughts about this because, yes, I could see we are living in a world, especially with social media, where the scamming is at an all-time high. We have a lot of people out here living beyond their means. We have a lot of people out here living beyond their means because they're scamming, they're boosting, they're stealing, etc. But yet presenting themselves online like they got it, right? And I do think this song could send that wrong message. But listen, we've had many, 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 many songs in the past, back in the day that when I was young, I was listening to, but it doesn't mean I went and sought out and was doing those things. You know what I'm saying? It's called discernment, and it's also called the grown-ups or the parents of these young kids listening to these songs, or the grown-ups listening to these songs, blasting these songs around their adolescent teenage kids, having to talk in that important conversation of, listen, like, you don't be doing this. You know what I mean? Not encouraging the behavior that's being displayed on the song. At the end of the day, it goes back to, I was a Britney Spears fan. And Britney Spears got a lot of flack back in the day where parents saying she was too sexy, blah, 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 and that she was sending a wrong message. You're the parent. It's your job. That's the problem. Parents don't want to be parenting and doing their job. So I think it's up to the parents to talk to their kids about the shoulds and the should nots when they're listening or watching or even watching certain movies. You know what I'm saying? So all in all, I know the likes of India RE and certain people are not gelling with Spend That and talking about the wrong messages sends. Be a parent to your kid and show your kid what's right, or talk to your kid about what's right and wrong. Meanwhile, I'm going to continue playing Spend That. But listen, all in all, what's your thoughts about this? Now it's time for me to end it with my note not today, y'all. And my note not today goes, as you guys know, I am single, very single. If you've been following me, I'm very, very single as a Pringle, and that ain't changing. And with that being said, my note not today ties into people, entities interested in me. Listen, we are not a match if you as a person think you should be chased. If you're living in your Princess Di era, if you think you're Princess Diana, or you're living in a Disney Cinderella princess type movie where you think you could get only want to get courted, nope, not today. You're not for me. I believe in a relationship of reciprocation. I believe in a relationship where two people show each other interest. I believe in a relationship where two people try. Is a give and take. So if you're sitting there thinking you're a Disney princess and you're the one that should only be courted, nope, not today. You're not for me. That's the show, y'all. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed it. Check you guys out. Same place, same time next week. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, all those good things. It's free, doesn't cost a thing. Appreciate you guys. Adios.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to follow, like, share, subscribe, everything the Inner Circle podcast, and catch us every Wednesday live at 8 p.m.